What's up guys, ArchAngel Manga here, and today's series review is going to be Claymore, a 26 episode series produced by Madhouse. This series is adapted from the popular Shonen Jump manga, which is still ongoing. What is Claymore and what is it about? It's basically set in a world which is resemblant of medieval Europe, and the continent on which it's set, the entire population is not necessarily under control, but in constant fear and living under monstrous beings called Yoma, which are basically humanoid monsters that exist for no other purpose but to feed on humans. Humans are basically their food, so Yoma are essentially above us in the food chain. So in order to combat this threat and stop humanity from being wiped out by these monsters, the human race has come up with a solution in an organisation, a nameless organisation, which produces human Yoma hybrids in order to create these all-female warriors which serve no other purpose but to go around slaying these Yomas. So yeah, this is the anime that is full of hot platinum blonde supermodels slaying monsters. What is there not to like? The main character is one of these human Yoma hybrids, and she is a Claymore. The reason why they're called Claymore is because that's the weapon that they carry. They carry big, massive broadswords on their back that they use to basically slash up these monsters and save people. And this organisation's purpose and the way they go about doing things is they will take contracts. Villages will pay for a Claymore to come and rid or purge their village of whatever Yoma threat is present, because these Yomas basically, they can shapeshift and they can blend in with human society by basically turning themselves into humans after eating one. So they're very, very crafty and cunning. The intelligent. They can basically blend in camouflage like a chameleon, and the only way you can sense them is by having Yoma energy in yourself, because you can sense the Yoma energy and the Yoma presence. So that's how the Claymores come in very handy, because they're able to sense the monsters but retaining their human self and the human consciousness and being able to obey their orders. So yeah, that's basically the world of Claymore. Claire, she's an interesting character. I watched this in the English dub, the Funimation dub. So anybody who is familiar with Funimation dubs will be aware and will probably recognise from some of the voices. Like Claire, the main character, is voiced by Stephanie Young, who also voices Nico Robin in One Piece, and her companion Raki, who is a boy that she saves from a village that she rids of a Yoma, is voiced by Todd Habercon, who's also been in a few other animes. And there's a few other different recognisable voice talents that you'll see dotted around her animes. I can't particularly think off the top of my head which ones, but yeah, Stephanie Young does a good voice for Claire, considering that she's got a very deep womanly voice for a very serious kind of character. She definitely brings that sex appeal to the characters like she does with most of the people who she plays. But what did I think of this anime? I liked it to an extent because I really enjoyed the manga. The manga is one of my favourite shonen mangas. But the anime itself, considering it's done by such a high-ranking studio such as Madhouse, which is like a powerhouse comparable to Studio Ghibli, Production IG, or Studio Bones, this isn't one of the best, considering that Madhouse have done other things like Shigeru Death Frenzy, which I also really liked. The Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime, Hellsing Ultimate, they did Summer Wars, Wolf Children, Yuki and Ame, all these great high production value animes that have got big budgets, and the animation in this isn't necessarily bad, but it's average at best. The fight scenes in the beginning of the anime are really good, very smooth and fluid, but towards the end, the animation becomes somewhat substandard for my taste, and you can tell that they were kind of cutting corners and almost working off a shoestring budget, which was kind of disappointing considering that I expected a lot from such a a well reputable studio such as Madhouse. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the anime. I haven't watched it in the Japanese dub because I'll basically watch everything in the English dub. If it's available in English dub, I'll watch it in its English dub first, just so I can appreciate the animation and take in the story more without having to read subtitles. So I can't really say which dub's better or which dub I would recommend. But the English dub is good. What else could I say? One thing I like about this anime, even though the animation isn't necessarily really good, I like the colour palette that's used. It opts out for less vibrant colours, and the backgrounds and the characters themselves are very very bleached, very plain, very monotone in colour. It's got a really monochromatic colour palette, just greys, dark greens, kind of pastel-y colours, and it really works nice to get the feel for that like medieval sort of environment, and it kind of bounces off and accents the Claymore's personalities themselves pretty well, because the Claymores are quite stoic in the representation of themselves. Like they're not like all goofy, and especially Claire, they're not very goofy. They're very reserved, very serious. There's not much humour in the series, but taking into account that these Claymores at first seem pretty emotionless, they do come from humans. They were initially humans, so the Yoma parts of themselves are basically eating away at their human side and turning them less human, which is very interesting. That really works off well with like the kind of tone of the series by the way the colour palette is set out. That was the one thing I definitely noticed. The musical score is kind of odd considering it's set in like a medieval sort of setting. Like you've got music like you've got like techno sort of background music, and you've got lots of rock sort of heavy guitar riffs, overdriven guitar riffs, especially like even the opening is like a metal song, which kind of works well, but I would have preferred more orchestral sort of symphony sort of background music and OSTs. I think that would be much more interesting, but I don't know, it works either way. All in all, I would definitely recommend this anime, but before watching the anime I would highly recommend reading the manga first, because considering that this anime, I'm not sure which year this came out, but obviously the manga's still ongoing, so this is a complete series. If you're going to buy this box set, it's going to be the complete series, all 26 episodes, so unfortunately the ending caps off with a filler, and some characters that stand out a lot in the manga, such as Raki, which is her companion, do not get their time to shine in the anime, because where the anime finishes off, it's just right before a 7-year time skip. So there's not really much character build up. There's a little bit of character development with Claire, because you get to find out her history and why she became a Claymore, and what her motives are. She's an interesting character, albeit very serious. But yeah, the ending is disappointing, and that's why I would highly recommend watching not watching the manga, reading the manga. So I would say the anime is above best. It's got average animation, very interesting story, interesting concept, and it's very different from any sort of shonen anime you will watch. It's kind of like a diluted version of Berserk, because it's violent, but there's no sort of gratuitous like violence, like sexual violence or anything like that. It's definitely like teen friendly. The worst you're going to get is like chopped off limbs and blood splatters and things like that. There's things that you just see standard in shonen violent animes. So yeah, I would at least give Claymore a chance. I'd probably give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10, which is kind of like just my above average sort of grade. But yeah, Claymore by Madhouse, original manga by Norihiro Yagi. Definitely recommend it. So yeah, until then, see you later.